T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News. My name is Lori Swan. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you're in the live chat, I do ask that you keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platform utilizing today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know we go live. Crazy world we are living in, guys. Oh my God. I can't even begin to tell you. If you're over on Facebook, go over to my wall. Go down to a couple of posts from yesterday and just read the comment section. Wow. Jeez. Oh. At this point in time, I'm having a hard time dealing with willfully ignorant people. I truly am. It never ceases to amaze me. Anyways, let's get into a couple quick. There's a few things that over the weekend it's piled up, and I used to do our morning news, and I stopped doing it because I just did. I'm lazy. I get tired easily, and I would much rather lay in bed and take a nap than come live. And I apologize for that. That's a fault of mine, and I will try to work on that for the future. But so Trump, y'all think about Trump. I'm going to preface this with something. I am not a Republican. And that does not make me a Democrat. I am so tired of when I post something about Trump, people automatically come back with, well, then you must be a Democrat. You must like Biden. No. I must be insane if I like the current administration. But I'll be darned if I'm going to support a person that I think it has zero morals. I know too much about Trump. I know too much about his reputation, his ties to, Soros. George Soros bailed him out here in Chicago. His close friendships with questionable people. His questionable morality when it comes to relationships. Just because I choose not to stand behind a Trump doesn't mean that I stand behind Biden. I'm not about to choose the lesser of the two evils because that's still choosing evil. I refuse to do that. Nonetheless, people insist, I made a joke. I said, I don't have time to go out and protest for Trump. I don't have time. I've got grown-up responsibilities to take care of, So let's pull this up. None of this makes sense to me. Supposedly, let me pull this up. Supposedly, this whole thing around Trump and he's going to get arrested and all this other stuff has to do with his payment to Stormy Daniels. Now, again, none of this makes sense. Is there a legal amount to pay somebody for their silence? Is there a legal, is there like a set amount to pay somebody for hush money? I mean, she took the money. She entered into an agreement with him. So she received $130,000 in 2016. Now, supposedly this was covered up, yet we all knew about it. I feel like I'm living in bizarro world. Because you've got these things that we knew all of a sudden now are being exposed. What are you talking about? We all knew about it. Just like the same with Jan 6. We all saw the videos of the Capitol Police unlocking the doors and allowing people to enter, showing them where to go, letting them in. We all saw it. But now all of a sudden, Tucker Carlson, he's a bad guy because he's putting out. We all saw it. Just like Epstein's list. Again, we saw the names when the WikiLeaks released them in 2016. I don't understand what is going on. We live in literally bizarro world. I don't get it. I don't get it. But yet nobody is talking about this. Nobody's talking about the $850,000 Bill Clinton gave to Paula Jones. Hush money. Hush money. Shut up. It didn't happen. Shh. Nobody's talking about that. Is there a set amount? I don't know. And now Trump is saying, he's calling for the far right. And I'm using words that mainstream media is doing, the trigger words. Calling for the far right. Please protest if I get arrested. What? You ain't got time. No one got time for that. Ain't no one got time for that. Why? Because it's a trap. A lot of people are saying it. The whole current administration has been trying to trap people for a long time. We're going to go after you. 85% of respondents polled on Donald Trump's own Truth Social website think protesting against his arrest would be risking a January 6th style setup, despite Trump himself telling them to go out and demonstrate. You still trust him? I don't trust anybody who tells me or asks me or suggests to me to go out and initiate or participate in civil unrest. Though it's our constitutional right to protest, with all of the possibilities of things that can happen, honeypots, agent provocateurs coming in just like they did on January 6th. When you got people who are being paid by George Soros and the likes of him, being bussed into Ferguson, being bussed into Baltimore, being paid to be agent provocateurs. And you honestly think that nothing's going to happen if we go out there and protest his arrest? You've got to be plumb dumb to think that nothing would happen or nothing would come about it. Plumb dumb. I mean, yeah. I don't know. But the New York City, we're waiting to see. I don't know. Do you guys think he's going to be arrested? I don't think he'll. I don't know. I don't know. At this point, I truly don't know. Yeah, cute heart. Look. If you look, stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Stop drinking the Trump tequila. Stop drinking the Trump tea. Stop. Just stop. Stop. If he gets arrested, I think the possibility is strong that he will get arrested, only because then it will hinder his ability to rerun in 2024, and that's probably the reason why they're doing this. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, we will wait to see what's going on with that. I don't know. But let's move on to the next thing. This is ICC issues arrest warrant for Putin. Oh, dear Lord in heaven. The pretrial chamber of the International Criminal Court issued warrants on Friday for the arrest of Russian President Vladimir Putin and Maria Lvova-Belova, the Presidential Commissioner for Child's Rights. The Hague-based tribunal is not recognized by Moscow, and the move has no legal validity in Moscow. The U.S. also does not recognize the body, which has been accused of being Eurocentric, I can't even pronounce it, and biased towards the West, Eurocentric. Guys, this is the same court that issued the arrest warrants for Pope Benedict. That's the reason why he retired, by the way. Queen Elizabeth, whoever, I can't remember what his name was the current UK leader there. And many other Canadian, the leader of Canada before this one we got in there now. There was like 5 or 7 of them that was listed that the arrest warrants were issued. They've never been executed for several reasons. First off, very few countries recognize these. Secondly, when they issue them, they're not really criminal warrants. They're more like civil warrants. They're not even like, I mean, it's kind of like me, okay? It's kind of like me holding a kangaroo court in my house, finding you guilty, typing up a warrant, and then, putting it out to the world saying, we found this person guilty of this. Kevin Annett was the one who initiated the whole thing because of the Canadian, was a Canadian priest, and he took the evidence of the Ninth Gate satanic cult, and he took evidence of sexual abuse and genocide, actually, to the court, and these people were found guilty by crimes against humanity, child trafficking, and stuff like that. The reason why the warrants have never been issued is because the Queen Elizabeth, she lives on sovereign land. What are they going to do? Knock on the door? It can't be executed. And anywhere she goes, when she steps out of the UK and she goes on to say she came to America, as soon as she stepped foot on America, wherever she steps is sovereign land. Same with the Pope. He lives on sovereign land. He lives inside the Vatican. That's a sovereign entity. So when he leaves and he goes anywhere, no matter where he is, he can't be served with it because wherever he is sovereign. I'm not saying the United States is the entire thing is sovereign, but wherever he is. So say he lives in a hotel or stays in a hotel while he's here. Wherever room he's in is sovereign land. No different than any other diplomat that comes over here to the United States or any other place. So, I mean, none of these warrants will ever be issued. The fact that Benedict is and Elizabeth has since been deceased. So, a lot of things have been coming up, talking about how Putin has been accused of kidnapping children from Ukraine. Let's get something perfectly clear here. Those children were trafficked. Those children were in imminent danger. What's going on in the Ukraine when it comes to human trafficking is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I can't even begin to those children. I'm telling you, the children. So, I mean, they're using false pretenses to even get a whatever warrant or whatever it is, whatever it is. So, you know. Okay, moving on. So I'm going to be interested to see where that comes out. Nobody recognizes it. So yeah, and let me a second. One more thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, I just wanted to talk about it. So I'm going to pull it up. So let's get to, hold on a second. Where am I? All right. So I did that. Okay. Let's move on to ecological. Looks like there is a huge seaweed blob, twice the width of the United States, heading towards Florida. I haven't watched this yet. See what it has.
An enormous mass of seaweed has grown to a staggering size in the Atlantic Ocean, raising concerns from scientists. Researchers say this year's bloom of sargassum seaweed is much larger than previous seasons, and it's roughly twice the width of the continental US. Scientists are worried about the environmental and health impact as the seaweed invades coastal ecosystems and covers beaches in the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. Researchers have found that human activity and climate change are fueling these massive blooms of seaweed. So why are we seeing such a massive blob of seaweed at this time? What's causing it? And how big a threat does it pose to residents and to sea life?
Well, this is an unusual year in that this sargassum bloom in the Great Atlantic Sargassum Belt started early. It doubled in size between December and January. In 1 month, it doubled in size and was larger in January than it has ever been since this new region of sargassum growth began in 2011. So this is an entirely new oceanographic phenomenon. Previously, the Sargasso was in the Sargasso Sea to the north. That is the central gyre of the North Atlantic Ocean, and would circulate in the currents around that, as well as through the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. So this is a whole new thing. And this is the source of this sargassum seaweed that is creating such a problem, really a catastrophic problem for tourism in the Caribbean region, where it piles up on beaches up to 5 or 6 feet deep on the beaches in some places. In fact, in Barbados, just last week, they reported they need 1,600 dump trucks a day to clean the beaches of this seaweed to make it suitable for tourists and recreation on the beaches. And, you know, where it comes ashore in the mangroves, it comes in such large quantities that it basically sucks the oxygen out of the water and creates what we refer to as dead zones. These are normally nursery habitats for fisheries, and you know, once they're devoid of oxygen, we have lost that habitat. Right. They are also harmful to seagrasses and coral reefs, and obviously to human health as well, because when they rot, they release toxic hydrogen sulfide gas. They have a high concentration of arsenic in the tissue. So you have to be very careful when you clean the beaches and try to reuse this for fertilizers or some other beneficial use.
Okay. So, so that's happening. Giant blob of seaweed, twice the width of the continental United States, is headed for the shores of Florida and other coastlines throughout the Gulf of Mexico, threatening to dump smelly and possibly harmful piles across beaches and dampening tourist season. Yeah, he said that when this starts rotting, it releases toxins, and it's going to not only poison the water but also up the bacterial level and make the beaches. They're going to close the beaches right during tourism season, which more things to hit us in the pocketbook, and this is going to hurt not only the wildlife, the fish, but the dolphins, the manatees, the flora in that area. So another thing we're going to have to keep an eye on, and if you're planning to go down to Florida for vacation, you might want to check this, the beaches before you even go to hold on a second. Ernie, just come in. You have the link. You got the link. You got the mots, baby. Come on in. Oh, you're mobile. Gotcha. Okie dokie. Copy. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just sending this to Ernie. Gotcha, Ernie. Gotcha. There you go. All right, Ernie's going to come in and join us. Awesome. All right. So, keeping an eye on, make sure that, like I said, if you're going to go on vacation, if you're going to head to Florida or the Gulf of Mexico in the next few weeks, you might want to check to make sure that the beaches are going to be open. And guys, if they say they're closed, don't go in them. They believe me, they are not going to close the beaches just for shits and giggles. That's their money. That's how they get people down there, the tourists, So if it's closed, stay out of the water. You don't want to get sick. I just read somewhere that brain-eating amoeba, it happens every year, like down in like Louisiana and stuff like that. We have reports of that. But, there's been an uptick in reports of things like that. So, better be safe than sorry. Okay, what else? Give me a second. Yeah, that's a giant seaweed blob. Okay, so we're going to go from arrests to protesting, to giant blogs, to a time traveler. Hey, Ernie.
What's going on? How you doing?
Nothing. Thanks for joining me. I thought you were out and about. So.
Well, I'm still in the house right now, but I don't have access to my computer at the moment. But I wanted to jump in and say this world is dumb, like completely dumb. Like how are you gonna put out a warrant for somebody who runs a country? I mean, seriously, Putin's probably on his couch being like, "Come at me, bro."
Yeah. Exactly.
Dang well, Trump ain't going nowhere.
If he gets arrested, it's all for for show. I mean, he's actually riled people up. I've noticed on social media since that he announced or he put out that I'm gonna get arrested. Boo me. There's been an uptick in people. It's another resurge in the whole. Oh my gosh, this was a Q drop. They said, storm is coming. It's Stormy Daniels. Stormy's the storm. Shut up.
Yeah, right.
STFU.
You know what? You didn't point this out, but I guarantee you they're trying to create another January 6th because both Washington, D.C. and New York City is on high alert with extended police presence. They're barricading all governmental facilities, including the police stations and stuff. So
yeah. And and like I said, I mean, when you've got these things, even just peaceful protests, you always run the risk of these these people coming in and causing trouble. These people. We know for a fact George Soros buses in people to these locations. He did it in Baltimore. He did it in Ferguson. He did it here in Chicago. He did it out in the Pacific Northwest during those protests. I'm not even going to call them protests. They were riots. We saw, when they placed the bricks. They placed bricks around the city.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Come on, man. Shove it pressure. Sorry. Gotta get care.
The thing. The thing. Anyway, so next topic. You're gonna like this one. You are gonna like this one. We talked about the 322, the 2023 being the 322, the year of chaos. 322 being the number of skull and bones and all that stuff. But we've got a time traveler who's predicting that aliens will conquer Earth on March 23rd. Oh my God, bring it.
Where's the murder hornets? I need the murder hornets.
Did anybody have aliens conquering Earth 2023 on your bingo card? Yeah, exactly. Come on. I do follow a couple of these time travelers. They're over on TikTok and they come up every once in a while. And I take screenshots because when the date comes and passes, I always go back and I always heckle them. I thought this was going to happen on such and such a date, whatever. But what's interesting is the timing of this article. The timing of this article is that the Pentagon has just admitted to and I'm using air quotes here, a mothership in our solar system, and that they believe that is sending probes down to Earth, which would make sense. In light of the recent uptick in UFO sightings.
Well, you got to look at it like this too. You remember that show, private show that we had talking about the false rapture, right?
Yeah.
You see a lot of movies and stuff that's been coming out lately with that so-called event coming out. Obviously, me and you, we don't believe in the pre-tribulation rapture. So I believe they're doing their own thing to try to create a quote unquote rapture, just to deceive the believers into thinking that they got left behind.
Correct. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, they're posturing for something, whether it is full-blown alien invasion, which, by the way, if you want to go there, let's give Trump some credit today. He actually formed the space agents, the Space Force. Now, I do have to question how you can have a space force without spaceships, but nonetheless, they do have their cute little uniforms and their nice little patches, and they're getting funded through our tax dollars. So, I mean, hey, they may get to be called up, and they may get to, I don't know, run out of the hangar and just look up at the sky when it happens, because that's about all they're going to do.
Yeah, pretty much. And I look at those things. I'm like, whatever happens. I'm to that point where, all this stuff got to come to pass. I'm no longer scared. I no longer care.
Right.
I know where I'm going.
Bring it.
Come at me, bro.
Show on the road.
So,
yeah. I was Dave and I were talking the other day, and we're like, I mean, when we were younger, it was almost like, I was afraid to die. I was afraid of it. Now I'm just like, I'm surprised every day when I wake up. Woo, yay, I got another day.
The more we become, into our faith and our relationship becomes stronger with the Most High God, the more we turn from I don't want to die to, please. Can I go now?
I'm okay with it. I'm all right. I'm good. I know I'm ready for my new body, and I'm ready to get out of pain, and I'm ready to, I'm ready, if it happens, it happens. So.
Right. The normies would say that, we're being, being those types of people that want to off themselves.
No.
But that's far from the case. No. I just want to go home.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a kid.
I'm a sound mind. I'm not suicidal. I'm not homicidal.
Right.
I'm not any of those things. I just know that, I'm not going to be afraid when things happen. I truly am not going to be afraid because, fear feeds that enemy. And I'm not going to be the one to make him fat and happy. So, but yeah. So it says when George Wells published his novel, The Time Machine, in 1895, few could have known the stories that would follow in the wake of that book. A lot of fables, a few realities. Even the film industry has echoed the impossible idea, with a lot of movies based on this fantasy that of being able to travel forwards or back in time, with the 80s film Back to the Future as one of the main references. What was hard to imagine more than 100 years ago is that an influencer who calls himself a time traveler could state categorically what was going to happen, and in this case, so soon. Oh, what was that? Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
I don't either. The name of this traveler is Eno Alaric, a person who claims to be a time traveler and has released in one of the most popular social networks of recent years, TikTok, that the future of the human race is in danger as a group of aliens will conquer planet Earth. In his assertion, he has also given a specific date on which this will happen, no less than a few days on March 23rd of this year. The story like the one he tells could not fail to have an apocalyptic moment, something that Eno has also shared with his followers. According to his revelation, only a small part of the inhabitants of our planet will survive. What's more, that fact will be possible thanks to another alien, a good one, who will be known as the Champion. This story, told by Eno, has more than 200,000 followers, was revealed last December 30th, but it is now that it has become more popular due to the proximity of the moment. What does that sound like? So there's going to be the bad aliens that are going to come down, but then there's going to be a good alien called the Champion. Sounds to me.
Oh, that's good old Anunnaki.
Oh, the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki. Yeah. So But now to me, it sounds like, Project Blue Beam, where they're going to fake the second coming of Christ, and he's going to come on the scene. He's going to come, I'm going to save the day, and then enter the Antichrist. Now, guys, let's make this perfectly clear. The Antichrist, you guys all sit there and you're like, oh, the Antichrist is going to wage war against the saints. He's going to give us the mark of the beast. He's going to do all. No, not at first. You got to realize the Antichrist is going to come as our friend. He's going to come as a savior. He cannot come with guns blazing and killing everybody and being this horrible person and expect everybody to worship him. He has to come in and, we talked about this the other day with Dr. Joy. He's going to come in, he's going to love bomb everybody. He's going to say, we're going to see what a charismatic and wonderful person this is. Look at, he saved us. And then
he's the ultimate narcissist.
The ultimate narcissist. And then after 3.5 years, that's when, he breaks the peace agreement. That's when he initiates the mark of the beast, and that's when he wages war against the saints. So, so, I mean, it's in 2 days, T-minus 48 hours. We shall see.
Speaking of news, what you think of that video I sent to you on Messenger?
I actually sent it to Joy, and she said that she knew about that. She's like, they read my book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty funny. All right, on to the next story. So, Noahide laws, guys. Did you see this,
Ernie? Yes, I was actually going to speak with you about that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so exclusive. Proposed legislation to outlaw sharing the gospel in Israel and send violators to prison. Could it become law? Holy cow, this is massive when you look at the precedents that they're setting. Guys, Noahide law. Yeah, those 7 Noahide laws look like they are scriptural and they look like they are good, but understand where the first one says you shall have no other gods, no idols. The worship of Jesus Christ is considered by these Talmud Zionists to be worshiping an idol. And what is the death sentence for breaking the Noahide laws? Beheading, death. So this is setting a precedence. Jerusalem, Israel. It is possible that the Israeli government this year could pass legislation making it illegal for people to share the gospel message in the very land where Jesus was born, raised, preached, died, buried, and rose from the dead. Unfortunately, yes. As Palm Sunday and Easter approach, the 2 most sacred days on the calendar for those who follow Jesus, both God and Messiah, 2 members of Israel's parliament introduced a bill last week that would ban any and all efforts to tell people about Jesus. The bill would send violators to prison.
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, this isn't the first time that they approached their parliament with this legislation. They tried to do it before, but they did not have the pull as they do right now. Now Netanyahu has to depend on the government now in order for him to continue to stay in office. So the question remains is whether he will be able to abide by their new law, even though he claims to be a big proponent of Christianity and supports the Christians, so they say. This is going to set a precedent for the rest of the world, obviously, with Israel being like pretty much the centerpiece. And for us that are, who have eyes to see and ears to hear already know that is not the true Israel. The true Israel are pretty much us here in the United States. There's complete documents and evidence that show that, and we've talked about it many times. But since the world views this country as the true nation of Israel, if this passes, this will start the ushering in of the Noahide laws. Correct. It will start the ushering in of the son of perdition, and it'll start the war of the saints. Correct.
And for those of you who don't know, Netanyahu is a proponent. He agrees, and he will. He said not recently, but I think a number of years ago, he said that he would back Noahide law when the time comes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If this doesn't make you go, wow, yeah. Oh, I saw this. I was like, no way. No way. All right.
Yeah, so if you're a Christian during this time, it is ill-advised to go to Israel.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the Jays are rising up and start to show their true colors against God's people.
Exactly. All right, here comes the point when the show that I don't want to say, Ernie and I told you so, but Ernie and I told you so. Feds announced launch of the FedNow real-time payment system, sparking debate. The Federal Reserve has announced a timeline for the launch of its long-awaited FedNow payment service that will let banks offer customers instantly available funds. Huh? Can you hear me? Did we lose him or did you guys lose me? Hang on a second. Okay, you guys can hear me. We lost him. Okay, let's go back here. Critics are flagging concerns the lack of cross-border payment processing, raising questions about surveillance. Guys, Bernie and I told you, we actually gave you a time frame. What did we say? We said July of this year. We said watch for May, June, July in this time frame that there would be when we told you about. Here he's back. Ernie, when we were talking about the banks that were failing last week and before a few days ago, we said watch May, June, and July of this year that something was going to happen when it comes to initiating the one world currency or electronic payments. Did we not?
Yes, we did.
We said July, guys, July. All right, so they're doing it in real time, but check this out. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Hold on. Oh, give me a second. I lost it. Oh, all right, that's one there. Here we go. I got a lot of tabs pulled up. Check this out. Federal Reserve Board. Federal Reserve announces July launch of FedNow service. Oh! Yellow.
So sad.
Huh?
So sad.
Yeah. Federal Reserve announced that the FedNow service will be starting operating in July and provide details on preparations for the launch. This is directly off the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. This is a .gov, federalreserve.gov website, straight from the horse's mouth. Can't get any more accurate information than this. Whoa, okay.
When I hate to say it, just it's coming. It's here.
You're coming. Doot, doot. Train at the station.
You gotta run.
Check this out. I actually laughed. I giggled at this. JP Morgan Chase thought it had $1.3 million worth of nickel stored in a warehouse. Closer examination reveals bags of stones. Somebody's got some explaining to do. The London Metal Exchange revealed a surprising mix-up. Oh, it's a mix-up. Last week at a warehouse at the Dutch port city of Rotterdam. An operator for the warehouse weighed bags that were thought to contain 54 metric tons of nickel, only to find that they were filled with stones, according to the Wall Street Journal. It appears that JP Morgan Chase is the unlucky owner of those bags, the Journal said on Monday, citing people familiar with the matter. Had they contained nickel, the bags would have been worth about $1.3 million at current prices, representing 0.14% of nickel inventories, Bloomberg reported. While that means the mix-up will have a relatively minor impact on metal markets, it does call the security of the LME's contracts into question. In the industry riddled with scandals, the LME's contracts are viewed as unquestionably safe until now. Can you imagine Wonder how long the thieves or whatever. Wonder how long the thieves or whoever they are have been laughing, going, "We got the money, we got the coins," and they don't. So, anyways, all right. I just thought that was just kind of funny. It's just my sixth sense of humor. Let's see. Two things to bring us to a close, which both are tragic, both are sad. One I don't have any explanation for, and the other, again, was a wow moment for me. First off, we have 3 Phoenix children reported dead in one morning. Another one was dead in Chandler. I'm going to let you guys listen to this. It's just heartbreaking.
String of unexplained deaths tonight. 3 babies are dead at 3 different locations in 3 separate incidents.
All 3 of these deaths happened in Phoenix this morning within an hour of each other. Fox 10's Lauren Clark is live at one of the scenes. Lauren.
Well, Linda and Brian, it certainly is very odd for this to happen. We're talking about 3 children who lost their lives today. That's also very important to point out, absolutely heartbreaking, as 3 families will never be the same. These deaths all caused by the same cause, according to police, that the children stopped breathing. And this happened within the same hour. This gives you an idea of where these 3 incidences occurred, one on Broadway, one near Culver Street, and another on 29th Street this morning. Now, 2 children were taken to the hospital where they died, and police say 1 child also died on the scene. The deaths happening within the same time frame, 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. Police did not give any ages, but did describe 1 child as, quote, very young. Now, to be clear, there's no evidence at this time that these deaths are connected in any type of way, but we don't know the cause of these deaths, but we have confirmed with police that they are not drownings. And police say it's very early right now. It would be too premature to rule out foul play completely, but they did say they did not find any evidence of anything suspicious at any of the scenes. Ultimately, it will be up to the Office of the Medical Examiner with their report to further determine what exactly happened here, and that will also alter the course of where the investigation goes from here. So we will certainly be following up on that as well. Reporting live here in Phoenix, Lauren Clark, Fox 10 News.
Phoenix detectives are investigating 3 children were found dead in separate incidences in the span of 1 hour Sunday morning. So we have, there was actually 4 altogether, 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m., 5:30 a.m., and 6:30 a.m. And these 3, I believe, the parents called 911, and I believe on this one, the parents took the child to the hospital where he died. We don't know. They're saying right now there is no ties to each of the incidences. My first instinct was to check if these 3 children, because the one is off. I hold on a second. Let me pull up the map. Here's the map for us. These 3 are the ones where the parents called 911. Happened at 5 and 5:30. Between 5
I may be looking into things, but just looking at the 3 dots of the locations, it forms a near perfect equilateral triangle.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Well, the first thing I thought about was to check to see if what these kids have in common. Do they have the same pediatrician? What about their vaccination schedule? Let's check the lot numbers on the vaccines that they were given recently. That was the 2 things that I thought. There was another one, but I can't think of it. But those were the 2 main things that I thought about at first, to check, because there's got to be some sort of some sort of connection.
Well, you got.
3 kids in an
I mean,
hour.
on the esoteric level, we also have to take a look at the time that it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that's completely odd that those 3 unfortunate babies that got taken away from their parents around the same exact time in 3 different locations.
That's what I mean. It's so bizarre, you know. I mean, it's not unusual for a child, you know, to succumb to sudden infant death syndrome or SIDS, but 3 in the matter of an hour of the same, that's bizarre to me. So I hope that, you know, we're definitely going to follow up with that. So we'll definitely see that. The final topic I want to bring to you guys kind of goes along with the recent charges against Putin. I had told you that there's a lot of human trafficking, and we know there is, guys. It's all over. It's not just in the Ukraine. Okay, it's all over the United States. The United States has such a I don't even know the word. Opioid crisis just doesn't do it justice. We have such an opioid crisis. Let's just look at the United States for right now. The opioid crisis here in the United States is at levels that are not sustainable. And the number of people, the homeless people, the drug addicts, the people that are succumbing to these overdoses. We're talking college students, young children, parents, you know, professional people that you wouldn't even think of that have a drug problem are succumbing and overdosing on fentanyl. It is being put into a lot of illegal street drugs. It's been being put into, you know, I mean, the amount of fentanyl that it takes to kill a person is just unimaginable. It's literally a speck. And so when I discovered a correlation between the opiate crisis and organ donation, I was shocked. Take a look at this. Did you know that a person who succumbs to an opioid overdose, their organs can be used for organ donation? Did you know that the chemicals in the things in opioids literally preserve the organs in the body? So when you look at the uptick, we know for sure that a lot of the fentanyl coming into the United States is coming from China. China is another one of the leading world superpowers that is big on organ donation. Don't even get me started on like the literal organ donation. I have, since my research had led me to the truth about it, I have since removed it off of my my driver's license. I'm no longer an organ donor because it is an inhumane treatment of a dead body. You go in there and you're literally just dissected, and you're not given anything, no anesthesia, no nothing. And you know, a lot of these, I know people are saying you don't need anesthesia, the person's brain dead, they don't feel any pain. I don't trust anybody. There's a lot of money when it comes to organ donations for organs, the black market organs, anything like that. There's a lot of freaking money. So if they find a match, they find somebody who matches somebody who has been waiting on that list, yeah, he's brain dead. Yep, we're sorry. We've done everything we possibly can. No, not a chance. I completely removed my name off of my driver's license. But we're now, can you imagine if there's death, if there's a tie to this. More organ donors have become available due to overdose deaths. UW's medicine's chief of transplantation surgery, Dr. George Reyes, talks about the organ's health, risk of infection and transmission, and the surrounding stigma. His interview was condensed and edited for clarity. What is the relationship between organ donation and people who overdose on drugs? He says, organ donation is an operation done on people who have died. They are legally, biologically, organically, and ethically dead. When you're dead, you're a cadaver. The question before us is specifically about donors who have died because of certain reasons, drug overdose. We have been using organs from donors such as these for a long time. Definitely the number has increased dramatically because the drug abuse epidemic that is worsening, particularly due to prescribed drugs. But the essential component is brain death. So he goes on, I'm going to put all these links in here. But yeah, if you die of an opioid, of a fentanyl in particular overdose, it actually preserves the organs and makes them viable for donation. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to put all the links in the description below for you guys to check out everything we talked about today. There was just so much that had been piled up in the last few days that I didn't want to wait until a night show. I'm just sitting here and decided to go live just to show you guys. We are going to be live tomorrow night with Big John, Hurricane Ann, and Hero. We're going to talk about 411 missing persons in the Federal Reserve, federal lands, and cryptids. We're going to talk about the Appalachian Mountains and some of the old superstitions that go on there that aren't really superstitions. They're based on fact. And also, we're going to keep an eye on the 23rd, because, if the aliens do come, they do come. What are you going to do? So we're going to keep an eye out on that as well. So I do want to put out a prayer request. I would like everybody to please keep Robbie D in your prayers. It's an unspoken prayer. I'm not going to give the reason, but he needs our support right now. He needs our prayers. He needs to be uplifted and to, for him, he's going through a bit of a crisis right now. And I am worried about him. I'm not going to lie. So if we could, please, keep him in your thoughts and in your prayers. I would greatly appreciate that. All right, we'll be back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time with, like I said, Big John, Hero, and Hurricane Ann. Going to be a good show tomorrow. Can't wait. And so you guys all have a blessed day. And until next time, remember, eyes open, no fear.